We are live now.
Okay.
There are still 2-3 minutes to go, but we'll start. Hello everyone. RSMDACC Arts and Commerce College welcomes you all to this certificate course in creative writing. Friends, imagination is more important than knowledge because knowledge is limited and imagination encircles the world. And poets are the senses, philosophers, and the intelligence of humanity. So let us meet a philosopher and intelligence of humanity, Dr. Tapati Day. Dr. Tapati Day is a doctorate in English. She is passionate about all forms of creative and performing arts, a multilingual writer. She writes in English, Hindi, and Bengali, and her writings have been published nationally and internationally. She has been freelancing for over 4 decades, and her articles keep appearing in the Indian Express, the Tribune, Chandigarh, the Hindustan Times, and the Hitwad. Her Hindi stories and poems feature regularly in the in house magazines of BSNL, published in Nagpur and Kolkata. Her poems are published regularly in the International Annual Anthology of Poems, Poetry World since 1991. She has co edited 3 anthologies, Orange City Muses and Versatile. Her poem, Innocence, which appeared in the Versatile 2004 edition, was personally appreciated by the then President of India, late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. She has several international recognitions to her credit, and her biography is registered with the International Biographical Institute, Cambridge, UK, and International Biographical Center, North Carolina, USA. She has presented papers at several national and international seminars on language and literature. She also delivers talks on language and literature, both Hindi and English, in several organizations and institutions in Nagpur district, being nominated by the Nagar Rajbhasha Karanvayan
Correct.
Samiti, yes, as a guest speaker. A trained Bharatnatyam dancer, she wields the brush with equal aplomb, and her paintings have been exhibited as well. She is associated with the AIR Nagpur since 1982. She is a member of the Center for Literary Interaction and Creativity, Shakespeare Society of Central India, and the Lions Club of Nagpur Legend. She is actively involved in philanthropic activities, helping the differently abled special children and the aged. Yes. So this is Dr. Tapati Day. And ma'am, we are really fortunate to have you amidst us here today. And to begin with, yes, let us have an interaction with Dr. Tapati. And yes, I'll call you Tapati Day. So, Tapati Day, since when did you fall in love with creative writing?
Good afternoon, and a huge namaskar to all my listeners, all who would love to see through this session. I'm highly honored and privileged to be here on such a huge platform to be talking to all of you. I take this opportunity to extend my best wishes during this festival season and the ensuing New Year 2021. At the outset, let us pray that the coming year future will be healthier and happier. Of all the things, let this negativity pass. Manju dear, thank you so much for this opportunity. And let's begin with all what you want to know. So you just
Yes.
asked me, when did this creativity begin? I'm not very sure, But I remember I had written a poem in Hindi, Ma, when I was in the sixth standard. Uh, my teacher, he read it and then he took it away. He never returned it to me. But I remember I had written something about Ma. That's all. After I went up eighth and ninth standard, I used to write my teacher, the postman, the usual little titles that we would get. And I remember having written our school magazine. At that time, we used to write personally. There was no printing system. So probably the roots are that far during the early teenage times.
Mm-hmm.
So creativity, maybe the way I have been thinking, have been interacting, or have been observing, the roots have been taking shape, the little plant growing, and then, of course, leafing and flowering.
Yeah.
This is all I can say.
Yes. Okay,
Huh.
but poetry is not turning loose of emotion, but an escape from emotion. It is not the expression of personality, but an escape from personality. But of course, only those who have personality and emotions know what it means to escape from these things. Do you agree that we escape from
Here,
our personality?
I wouldn't say it is an escape. It's not an escape, but it is an ethereal feeling when you are emotive, whether on paper, whether you can say in music, dance, any form of art, let it be creative art or performing art, you just emote. And uh, basically, you are coming out of yourself. The external self is being helped by the internal self. It is rather weaving a warp around you with many things which make you feel happy. The core word here I would use is happiness, not escaping, but something that gives you inert happiness. I would put it that way.
Yeah. And I have gone through
Yeah.
your poetry, and mostly you write about nature. So you are a nature poet. Nature was the source of all joy for Wordsworth. And nature for him was a living personality, just like a teacher, a guardian, and a nurse. How do you find nature?
Nature is the best teacher. From nature, we learn everything. We right from growing, the process of growing, then leafing, uh, flowering, and then the fruit. Nature teaches us patience, forbearance, and if you ask for a source of inspiration, nothing else can teach you better than what nature teaches you. Because you, as a human being, we just wait for it. Um, we wait for the seasons to change. We wait for the flowers to bloom. We wait for everything. It is not that I ask and the flower has to bloom. I ask and it has to rain. It's not like that. But when it takes its own time, and when it come like the winter, the summer, the spring, autumn, all these seasons, they take their own time and then they come in. You feel happy that you're welcoming it. Your inner self welcomes nature with a very godly happiness, and that is what is your teacher, that you have to hold patience, you have to persevere to do what you want. It cannot be just, it's not like a electricity switch. You just push it and you get the glow of the light. It's not like that. I would take it that way.
Yeah.
And all the romantic poets for that matter, you'd say Keats, Wordsworth, Tennyson, Shelley, anybody, all have drawn inspiration always from nature. You take Sarojini Naidu, you take Rabindranath Tagore, they have also been inspired by nature.
Yes.
because nature always is mother of
Yes.
all that humans have with them, mother of all. Yeah.
Yes. And Tapati di, actually you write in English, you write in Hindi and Bengali languages. In all the three languages you write. But in which language do you really enjoy writing the most? Because I'll ask you two, three questions in this one. First of all,
Yeah.
in which language do you enjoy writing the most?
I'm very comfortable in English.
Ah.
That is because maybe my basic education has always been in the English medium.
Hmm.
Hindi also, I am quite comfortable, but not as comfortable as I'm in English. Bengali, I have not studied in school or college because we were brought up in Bombay, and there the language Bengali was just spoken at home because our parents were very insistent we learn our mother tongue, and probably the love for the language grew gradually because um, mother tongue is something that is soul speak.
Yeah.
So along with English and Hindi, Bengali just naturally came into me. And whenever I have searched for words, I found English words coming to me quite easily. For Bengali, yes, I do a bit of reading also, so that I understand the language. And let me tell you, the language Hindi and Bengali are very closely related, especially grammatically as well as spellings wise. So it has never been difficult for me to understand these two languages, which we call is most Indian.
Yes.
Even today, we say English is not our language, but English is very much our language because when we interact, suppose I'm speaking my own language and you're speaking your language, um, I understand nothing, you understand nothing. The mid path that we take, comfortably we can interact in English
Hmm.
if we I would say we should respect all languages in the world because somebody or the other speaks it,
Yeah.
somebody or the other understands it, somebody or the other loves it. So we need to respect all languages equally. Yes, I am very comfortable in English,
Acha.
comfortable in Hindi and Bengali because they are my languages, right? They're the question of being an Indian comes my language.
But there must
So
be
it's
some difference when you are writing in English and when you are writing in Bengali or Hindi.
yes. There is a difference because the vocabulary bank that I have in English. Unfortunately, even although the learning process is on every day, I'm not having that much in Bengali. And Hindi is something, again, we have been studying the language all through our educational life. We have been interacting with everybody in the country, in the language. So we pick up the language. When we want to use better words, see, if we just go into the book and say, okay, I'll pick this word and then write, it's not a natural flow of language. Natural flow is when you have the language with yourself and then you write it down as easily. Because when you feel like writing, that time you cannot go searching for words. You must have the words with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And while I was going through your introduction, and you know, basically, Taptidi, you are into creative writing, and you did your post graduation also in English. Then you have a doctorate in English. Then how come you took a job in BSNL? Because you know, people like you who have a creative bent of mind don't like mechanical jobs. Then how did this happen? How did you land up
Uh,
in BSNL?
See, somewhere we need to believe destiny. I started my work life very early in age. At that time, I was just a graduate. And honestly speaking, that much of exposure was not there where we could understand. Oh, all I wanted to become as a school teacher. I didn't have very huge ambitions. I wanted to be a school teacher. I loved to teach, so that was my ambition. But my parents, they said, because most of our relatives were in government service. My dad was very insistent I join a government department where girls are very secure, that security, that safety, all these things at that age, say 40 years ago, it was almost like that. So I did my UPSC, and fortunately, or otherwise, I got selected. I got into the job. Okay, at, but that yearning, that search for a little more or something different. As I told you, in all my technicalities, I used to search for music. I used to search for creativity. I used to search for perfection. And I always felt like most of my colleagues would say, "Ma'am, you are a misfit over here." Yes, I was a misfit there. But then I never liked to complain about it. I took it as my destiny. Parallelly, I kept pursuing my studies. I loved to read because basically my job was such that I used to be kept in a separate room sort of that. So I got that peace for myself, you can say. So I used to stack books. I used to stack certain things which, when I would be free, I would use them and read, write, quietly do my little creative work because no disturbance at all. But my colleagues, officers, presumably they were very happy with the way I used to keep doing something, achieving something, some name somewhere. Otherwise, uh, in the mundane routine of life in a government office, where there is nothing new after the day you join, there to find such a lot of peace and tranquility, I think I was very lucky. And nobody stopped me. Honestly, my officers, my colleagues, they were so encouraging that they allowed me to be myself. That was my blessing. And I have, till date, I have grown with this blessing of from everybody whom I know. So it's
You've really
but
had, yeah, you've really had a very long tenure in BSNL, isn't it? So I
yeah, see, it's like I just had one mask, one job. I did not change because I was comfortable. I could, of course, I was transferred from one unit to the other unit. There were people who many a times wouldn't understand the way I interacted with them. But then overall, if I go to see, since my father was happy that I am in a comfortable place, I remained so. Uh, and I didn't want to change my job because I wanted to be in Nagpur with my parents, with my family. Uh, as you know,
yes.
I have always been a co-provider for the family, so it was like that.
And do your experiences in BSNL, do they figure in your writing?
Yeah, my middles or the little articles like there's one break ke baad. It's all about running to office and working there and running back home. Then a paid holiday. I remember I had gone for a 2 week training to Ghaziabad. Every weekend we would run away to say Amritsar and Ambala and Chandigarh and or that side or to Vrindavan, Mathura on this side. So it was like you enjoy while you well, like you say, you earn while you learn, you enjoy while you work.
Yes.
So this is what we got that opportunity, and honestly speaking, being in the department, Uh, I have enjoyed a lot of freedom, a lot of, you can say, respect. I have earned a lot of respect, as well as uh, I was encouraged a lot to do what I like. So that gave me a lot of satisfaction.
Yes.
And just hopping jobs was not my cup of tea, of course. I
Tapati,
like,
I've been
yeah.
really enjoying all your poems, and wherever we've been listening to your poems,
Hmm.
I've found that people have really loved and appreciated your poems. But yeah, but when I read that your
Hmm.
poem "Innocence," it was
Hmm.
appreciated by none other than APJ Abdul Kalam. Like it was really like I was awed, in awe, and really wonder. How did this happen, and how did he read your poem? Where did he read your poem?
Basically, let me tell you, my association with the late Dr. Kalam goes back again to 1991, when I was introduced to the world poets by one of our common acquaintances. And if you have heard of Dr. Krishna Srinivas, Padma Bhushan, later Dr. Krishna Srinivas, Dr. Kalam and Dr. Krishna Srinivas were very close friends. When now this anthology of poems, 300 eminent poets of the world would contribute in it. So there was a galaxy of very eminent personalities contributing there. When I was asked to send a poem, I didn't know where I'm sending the poem, but since the person who introduced me there, Mr. Jayapalan, he said, "You just give me your poem, I'll do the rest." So I just gave it to him. It was With the Waves of Time. So there I saw in the first where Indian poets were published. The first poem was Dr. Kalam's, and somewhere Tapti T appeared there. I was there. Gradually, when Dr. Kalam came to become the president of India, then I understood where I was. Okay, when Versatile the first Versatile was published, it was just a stroke of thought that why not forward one complimentary copy to him too. I sent one to Mr. Sri Vajpayee ji. He was then the Prime Minister of India, and one to Dr. Kalam as the President of India. From the Prime Minister's office, I got an acknowledgement that we have received your copy. But the biggest surprise came when I got this letter from Dr. Kalam, personally signed, appreciating the poem.
Wow.
And it means no award, no reward, no recognition can beat this achievement. It was sheer innocence that I sent the poem, and the reward that I got was really hugely heavenly, you can say.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's even now I say that we are so blessed. I had this opportunity to see him twice in my life. But when you treasure something like this, probably if I would have got a love letter from somebody, I wouldn't have treasured it so much as I have treasured this letter from Dr. Kalam. So
Yeah.
that's heavenly, I'll tell you.
Yes. A
Yeah.
special thing in your life. Yes.
Huh.
Tapti Di,
And it, yeah,
yeah, your PhD is on Sarojini Naidu, isn't it?
yes,
And
yes.
but what do you like most in her poems?
Her poems are lyrical, musical. It's that jingling, tinkling, onomatopoeic effect on the words. I love music, although I did not learn music in that respect. But since I have been into performing arts as well as creative arts, I like the music part in the words. When they fall, they should fall softly. And this is what I found in Sarojini Naidu's poems. It was take the bangle sellers of Hyderabad, or take the weavers, Indian weavers, or you take the Coromandel fishers, the word endings, they actually lift you from yourself. And then it's like transposing you from one position to the other, and you are lost in that. That is what was most attractive about her writing. Very simple language, very sonorous, very melodious, and soft. I like the softness part in poetry.
Yeah.
So probably that is what. And let me tell you, in the year the not 2000, before that, was invited to attend a national seminar on women poets of India. And it was just a fourth afterthought that why not try women poets? Let's write on Sarojini Naidu. So I had presented my paper there, and it was very, very appreciated. So the real seed for the later research was sown during that time. It was probably in the year 2000 or 1999, somewhere around that time it was. So later on, I went to do my research in Sarojini Naidu's poems.
Yeah. And actually, now let us move to your interest in dancing. Yes, you are a trained Bharatnatyam dancer. Yeah. And do
Yes.
you pursue this even now? And
No, means I pursued it till very seriously till my graduation. After that, the day in day out, you can say commitments.
yeah,
And if you have to pursue, you have to give a certain uh, time.
yes.
Means, for this, you have to be dedicated. And around that time, it was difficult for me because my father was the sole breadwinner in the house, and we had a big family. So it was better that I took up a job, or I took up something so that I could help around, as well as do whatever I want to do further in my life and career.
Okay.
So in Nagpur, see, I was brought up in Bombay. Schooling was in Bombay. There we had a lot of opportunities. School was close by. Dancing school was close by. So we didn't have to go very far. When my father got transferred to Nagpur, things were very, very, you can say, far flung. We used to live in Lakshmi Nagar earlier, then we came to Katol Road, but the actual Bharatanatyam is absolutely classical, and you need to go to such a person who traditionally teaches you, because I learned from a very, very orthodox traditional teacher. I couldn't compromise with anybody and everybody. So then I thought to myself, instead of pursuing this, let me move on to anything other than performing arts like dancing. I easily slipped into the shoes of writing, composing, painting. I developed that gradually.
Yes. But
And my ma has been my real guru in all these respects. Ma herself has been a very good artist in her times. So she's my best critic till date. She has never appreciated what I have done. If one color is pink, so it should have been pinker and redder. So it's like that. So I have learned whatever I've learned from her.
yeah. But what is your opinion on expressing oneself through dance? What do you feel that expressing?
Yes, it is a very, very you can effective way of expression. Your emotions almost are centered on your face, on your eyes, lips, cheeks. Hands and legs come later on. You know, the face has to be very emotive, and there every rasa which you say. Now, you are a classical singer, you will know how these rasas help you to express yourself. So, when you want to express anger, you want to express happiness, you want to express sadness, your face should be reflective.
Yeah.
Yes, they give you a lot of relief within yourself, but yes, you need that space and you need that ambience also to be able to express yourself.
And you are interested in philanthropic activities also. So please share your
Uh,
experiences helping differently abled, special children, and you are spending time with aged people also. And all
uh,
these are reflected in your writing also. You've recently you've written about homecoming, and there also
yes,
you talked about aged
aged.
people. Yeah.
But Manju, basically, see, you learn from home. Whatever you learn from home. And touch wood, my mother is 85 and father is 96. So the how we need to handle the aged, or how we've grown to take care of them, age has taught us. Okay. Then, as you know, I had a sister who was very severely mentally retarded. So from her we learned unconditional love, compassion, empathizing with her, because although she was 59 plus when she passed away, her you can say her IQ was just 28. That means for a 2-year-old child, you have this IQ. So she was basically a huge stress buster in our family. We grew to love uh, her because whatever it is, she had no you can say जिसे हम स्वार्थी कहते हैं ना, she was not selfish at all. She gave unconditionally, we gave unconditionally, not waiting for a thank you, or not waiting for some benefit. So when you understand one person like this, you can understand, you can empathize with the lot outside. If you want to do something, charity begins at home. So when charity begins at home, naturally you carry the charity out. So I would say I have not done anything special for anybody, but this caring, sharing, loving unconditionally, this I have learned from home and with my family with me. So it's just the care that you can give, and whatever we do, we should be happy and satisfied
Yes,
without any selfish attitude.
definitely.
So that makes the inner feelings very nice. And that's why probably we can be creative, we can read, write, compose, sing, dance, whatever we do. It's because that inner God within you is helping you to do so.
No
Yeah,
doubt your poems, they touch everyone. Yes.
thank you.
Friends, let me tell you that she is a gifted painter too. So now I'll be showing you her paintings also. But Tapti, when you are tensed or maybe when you are having a free time, that means at leisure, what do you do? If you have time, do you paint or do you write or like what do you do? Because you have so many things and you are doing so many things. So what is that particular thing that like the moment you feel that you have time, so now what are you going to do? Yes. Or if you are
As
to just get out of this and have a time for your own or enjoy or relax or something, what do you do?
when I used to return from office, most of the time I used to walk down from that CTO compound till Sadar. I used to see the sunset. I also would love to enjoy the moonrise. So a dreamy person, That one reason why even today I do not like driving, because I always keep dreaming I may go and crash land on somebody. So those the inspiration that you get. You, as I said at the outset, nature inspires you, whether it is day, night, afternoon, whatever it is. And I like to keep myself occupied. So there's always something weaving inside my head. Most of my achievements that I have been blessed with was when I was working inside the office and in the middle of the crowd, I'm sitting and writing a poetry. So, and later on that was appreciated also. So if I'm not reading, I'm writing. If I'm not writing, I'm painting. If I'm not painting, I'm stitching or cooking or doing anything inside the house. But I like to keep myself occupied
Yes.
because I fear an empty mind and I'm scared of the devil. So, as you say, something or the other always keeps me occupied. And this occupation keeps me happy, keeps me healthy, and keeps me vibrant. I don't sleep before 1:30 in the night. So there is something or the other that is going on, and I the thing is, when you love to do something, do it, and when you are doing it, you enjoy it. Even if you're cooking, you enjoy it. Your emotions matter. That's all. In everything, your emotions matter.
It is said that there is poetry in painting also, there is poetry in dance also. So, what do you feel?
Yes. Poetry encompasses the entire human soul, externally, internally. And poetry is that part. See, as long as you see the bud is closed, you don't get the fragrance. The moment it blooms, you get the fragrance, right? So it's like that. Poetry comes out with that blooming bud. And the moment you get the fragrance of it, you are just transposed to a world which is so ethereal that you just forget your existence. So poetry actually makes you for me, I feel poetry makes the best of a person in the person. It's just it's like, a very decorative art which you feel within yourself happy. You are lost in your own world. Nothing matters. So
Yes.
I have this habit of detaching myself all of a sudden when I want to write poetry. Let there be crowd inside the house or anywhere else, I can do it. I can just get into my shell and scribble something and come out of it.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's happiness for me.
Ah. So
Yeah.
it was very interesting talking to you. And friends, now you know what goes into the making of the poet. Yes, the circumstances and the job, the family members, education. So all these things go into making of this personality. And yes, I said that she's a painter. So let us see some of her paintings. I just would love to share my screen and show you. Are the slides visible?
Yes, they are visible. I can see them.
Yeah, wait. Now we can see her paintings, lovely paintings, beautiful. And look at the colors. Yeah, beautiful. Yes. Look at the flowers. My God. Lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah. And what do you want to show in this painting, Taptiti? Would you like to speak about this?
In this painting, where you can see a male head and a female face. Basically, when a man thinks of a bride, the image in his mind is always a beautiful girl,
Yes.
irrespective of the fact what the man must be. His image is always a beautiful girl. So this imagination
Okay.
which I have created.
Yeah.
Uh,
So we'll move ahead. And
yeah,
actually, Taptidi has written beautiful poems. So many of her poems have been published also. And these are two, I just sampled two poems have been shown here. One is Here Silence Speaks, and the other is On Your Betrothal.
yeah.
So we'll elaborate. Would you like to talk about these, or we'll move on to the editing?
Uh, mm, I'll just speak about here. Silence Speaks.
Mhm.
One of the poems, which was one of the last that appeared in World Poetry. After that, World Poetry Society closed down office because Dr. Srinivas had passed away. This was the last which Dr. Kalam and myself appeared in that anthology of 300 eminent poets of the world. If you give me just 2 minutes, Manju, should I read out just this poem for you, or for the audience?
Yes, yes.
Here, silence speaks. Silence has a very loud voice, I
Yes.
must say. Your silence speaks. A whispering silence engulfs my room of thoughts, quivering over unspoken words, trespassing the soft lips, locked voiceless, yet wanting to speak aloud and have a say. Truth belied the eyes, blindfolded, while the lashes batted desperately to hold back that one drop of tear that ruefully stood to cut the edges of the bay. My tongue held back every word that tumbled within one after the other through that voiceless throat, embattled amongst each other with gut feelings. How long? How much longer to hold back? Asked my soul once again today. The heart caged within cupped its hands, looked upwards for an answer. Head hung in deep prayer, it spoke. God, for once give voice to the silence, to whom it is betrothed since an age. God, in his silence, seemed bemused, smiled, yet again voiceless.
Yes.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yes, and no doubt, silence really speaks the volumes. Yes.
Volumes, volumes.
Wow. Now we
Yes.
move on to your friends. She has been writing the middles and so many articles she has written on different topics. So now, actually, today, though she's a poet, we'll be asking her to talk about writing middles because she will tell you how to write middles and what goes on. What is the thought process when she writes middles? How does she think about a topic? And how does she think about the words she's going to use? What are the metaphors? What are the different images she's going to use? Or she doesn't use any metaphors and she writes just facts. Let us uh, listen to her. And students, you also would be uh, Looking forward to find out how middles are written. So over to Dr. Tapti.
Thank you, Manju. Uh, Let us come to this main session, creative writing. Now, this word creative, the verb is create, the adjective is creative, and the noun is creativity. We have to use one word in so many forms to express our feelings or our thought processes when we come to writing. Creative writing is basically, see, I'm a freelancer. I have I have not done a degree in journalism or anything. I write because I feel like writing. It's just inspirational. Some thoughts come into me, and whatever I see, whatever I observe, I start writing down. But creativity means your horizon is expansive. You have to push in your thoughts, you have to push in your words within a frame. You're given, say, 550 word limit, as all who write for Hitfather would know, 550 to 600 words. And in those 550 to 600 words, you have to put in almost all of your emotions, what you're thinking about for a particular topic. Now, we draw inspiration from nature, as we told at the outset. God is the creator par excellence. Now, when we have such a huge creator, how creative could we be? We are just taking in from Him. We just draw inspiration from their special talents. Each one of us, God has not sent us, any of us, without a special talent. He has sent us with a talent. The special talents that each one of us has is the blessings of the Almighty. We are born as artists, writers, poets, musicians, etc. Nobody can make one. You cannot become a sudden writer. You have got some talent from your birth. And when God must have been making you, He must have put in some special ingredients. He must have spiced the entire dough while kneading it to make a human being. So such special talents need to be honed. It cannot be you cannot make it. You have to hone the talent is within you. You have to come out with it. Like you have these sculptors, potters, painters, idol makers, dancers, musicians. Even in one in a million, you cannot find a second Lata Mangeshkar or Muhammad Rafi. They are just born to be timeless. So the creativity or creative, now when we come to writing, you have the greats like Shakespeare, Tennyson, Wordsworth, etc. We come to India, we have Rabindranath Tagore, we have the other writers in India whom you have vernacular writers. You have now you love to read Chetan Bhagat and Arundhati Roy and Jhumpa Lahiri, Upmanyu Chatterjee. These people did not take a training anywhere. They have come out of themselves because this inner talent is with them. So, as a freelancer, I would say, first thing, set your imaginations free. Think of something. You start churning your brain for something really wonderful, and then you start observing things. First, you imagine, set your imaginations free. You want to write about some topic, you think about that thing, how many things you can add in it. You just keep adding in your kitty what you can do. Then you start observing, you start feeling. You have to have that feeling within you. You want to write about somebody, place yourself into that position, and you think, what best you can describe when you want to write about it. Now, the thought process should be like this. You have to choose a topic. Now, the one on the screen is biological problem. Now, I wanted to every day at home. For some reason or the other, the maid servants take a holiday. They do have the job. Every day they are corrected to do the work properly. Every other day somebody dies in their family. They have so many relatives, so many in-laws, uncountable. So all these points, you have to bring to one small place and then elaborate on them. You have to choose first your topic, then you have to set your mind to think over it, and then since you have been given a word limit, you have to arrange the entire story within that frame. In that frame, you have to set yourself so well that your story does not lose its chord. It needs to have a continuity. You whatever your observation is, see that your observation is in detail. You don't make mistakes. You have to always make sure that whatever you want to write, you have to have very crisp words. You have to have very soft language. Your language should be simple. Use very simple words. Don't use bombastic words, because people, if they do not understand your language, they may not take interest to read. You have to be cautious. One has to be cautious while writing. For and the minute details that you have been observing, those things should come stepwise. You first you write about something, and then you jump off to another topic. If you do that, your story loses its content. So your story, if you take one topic, like I have taken the topic of some maid servant, or I have taken the topic of some colleague in my office, or like my mother is doing some work, my sister-in-law is enjoying a holiday midweek all of a sudden. So usually my stories revolve around my family, my workplace, the experiences that I have in my day-to-day life. When you write about your day-to-day life, you generally tend to be very down to earth. Let us not go beyond the horizon, because there we may lose the grip of the story that we are writing. Let it be very simple. Take a very simple topic. 550 words, you cannot put in many things. You can just put one or two things. And many a times I find people preaching. So middles especially need not be preaching type. Let it be a very humorous story, something very light to read, so that after all the first page, second page, third page of terrorist killings and some terrorist fightings, or some something bad happening to the women of the world, all these things are negative journalism, I would say. When you come to the real core of the paper and you want to read something just to entertain yourself, your topic needs humor in it. Whenever I write prose, it is on the lighter vein. Poetry, yes, is a bit serious. So poetry doesn't get up space in the middle of the newspaper. And touchwood, I have been associated with the Hitwan for the last 40, 45 years. And I've been blessed that they have always been very generous to accept what I have written. whether it's a middle, whether it's a huge article on education, or just how the language English is being treated. जल्दी से झटपट अंग्रेजी सिखा दीजिए, तो how can you teach a language which is centuries old झटपट, if we do not get into the skin of it. So everything has to be understood in the lighter vein. So the humor part should be there. Now, when we come to basically writing something, as you say, you need vocabulary. Your language, the hold on the language needs to be good and quite means wherever you whatever word you want to use, you must be able to use those perfect words there. Use very small, easily understandable words rather than hard words. If you want to write happy, use the word happy instead of saying I was delighted. Delighted also comes in the happy category. The excited also comes in the happy category. But you see whether that word suits the tenor of your writing. So your choice of words should be good. If you are, if one while writing, if you find that you are not getting the right word, refer to the dictionary. The more you read, the more of words you add in your kitty, and when your vocabulary is strong, your language becomes strong. You need to know why you are using a particular word in a particular place. If you understand that, naturally, while writing or composing, you will not make a mistake. If the word has struck you, open the dictionary, find the meaning. Does it suit there? Just find out whether it suits you, suits the story you are writing, or suits the middle article you are writing, and then use it. So, what will happen? The person who's reading your article will enjoy reading it. If you can play with the words, you coin your words. Where you want to add something, and sometimes use words which necessarily doesn't mean uh, English. It can be a French phrase, it can be a Hindi phrase, it can be a Sanskrit word. Give your article the feeling of universality and use it in a way, like I said, suppose I say, her talent is par excellence. Par excellence is a phrase used in it's a French phrase. I should know the meaning before I use the word. So teach yourself, or rather educate yourself if you are interested in writing. First, the homework that has to be done is increase your word power, your vocabulary. Your vocabulary it is like the basic backbone of language. Vocabulary. Any writing, if your vocabulary is strong, your command in the language is strong, and next is all grammar. Now, if I want to put the words in order, I cannot be putting a big fat word in between. I cannot take the verb, pick it up, and put it before the subject. So I should know the order of a sentence. Many a times I come across students, they have been studying in English, in the English medium right from their first standard, but their way of arranging the words in a sentence is not proper. Maybe they did not get the opportunity to be coached in a way, like if we do not tell the student that this is your mistake, he will not know how to correct it. But grammar is the most important factor which actually holds language. We may not be able to study all forms of grammar in 1 year's time, 2 years time. But take interest and see that when you coin your sentence, the subject, the verb, the object are placed in such a way your sentence is complete. Write short sentences and write meaningful sentences. They do not go into long complex sentences or compound sentences. Generally, we tend to lose the tense in the following sentences, which many a times we are unable to understand why we do so. It is when we pull something very long, it tends to snap. Now, from vocabulary and grammar, we go to how would you, as I said, you cannot stretch yourself so much, but you have to give your ideas some elasticity. You have an idea, you want to write about something, you want to write about a friend who's who has done something which is very funny, but you'll have learned a lesson also out of it. Okay. Or we may have you are seeing on the screen. This is one story, Ramayan Revisited. This is a personal experience that a teacher, she was teaching, she was coaching the children for the annual gathering, and she wanted to convey something about the last scene of Ramayana, where Sita begs to the Mother Earth to just give her space. She doesn't want to continue on the earth anymore. So in the last scene, there was a huge chaos, because instead of Sita getting into that little space down below, somebody sitting down pulled down a ram, and Sita was nonplussed. So just this event had to be conveyed in writing form. Um, if you don't put in humor, you will not be able to enjoy the little story that has been uh, written. So expression of ideas should be so strong that you almost visualize what you have, what you want to convey. The you have to maintain a balance. You are writing the story. You know, when you come to the final paragraph, your story from the first para to the last has to have a proper connectivity. You can stretch it a little, but see that one can maintain the tenor of the story. So it's cautious writing. We cannot just keep on writing and on writing. We have word limit. So every time we are writing, we have to understand the word limit first, put in the words in a way that it fits into that little space that is given to us, and then in and along with it, spice it, spruce it, so that we can have a good story. For a little while, we can laugh, we can enjoy the reading of the article. Now, everything has a time frame, as you say. The plot story needs a time frame as well as space frame. We have to put it in that particular space that we have. If you are writing a longer article, even then you have 700, 800 words or 1000 words. You have to finish writing in that particular frame itself. You cannot say, "Nee, I was enjoying writing, so I wrote a huge story." So huge stories are not accepted. When the story is small, people enjoy reading it more than what more than reading. Like when you read, when our students they read longer stories, they get bored somewhere. But if the story is small, they enjoy. So how do they enjoy? Because the grip of the story has been maintained from A to Z. So we need to understand the plot, the length of the the word limit, the time frame, the plot, and the story always revolves around a time frame that we have to maintain. Now, the continuity of thought, when we want to, when we are writing about something, I want to write about, say, suppose I have gone on a visit to a particular place. From the day one to day three, whatever I have seen, I want to add, I want to put in all in order. So how do I begin? From where do I start? How do I move forward? All those things have to be properly spaced out. Then any one of us who write, any one of us, who writes, that person has to think of first what is the topic we are discussing, or what is the topic we are writing on. You take n number of topics. You can take from nature to your personal experiences to your office scenario. You may have visited somebody in a hospital. You take any topic, but you will have to slot it out in that particular frame, so that when you sit to write, you have the entire structure of a story with you intact. You are just placing, like you place the bricks and you build the wall, you are placing your plot, time plot, and the story into that frame. Next, we use whatever word, as I told you a little while earlier, appropriate words. Now, there are many words. If you go through a thesaurus, you'll find that one word has many, many, many degrees where you have to use it. Um, I take the word happy. From happy, I go to joy. From joy, I go to enjoy. From enjoy, delight. Delight, then pleasant feeling. Then ecstatic feeling. All these, see, the words have a degree in each one of them. Where do I use it? I'm happy to see you. Okay, fine. But I was ecstatic about the meeting with, suppose, Amitabh Bachchan. See, just understand the degree of the feeling. You were happy to see me, but when it comes to Amitabh Bachchan, you are ecstatic. That means you are extremely happy. So this difference, sadness, you are woeful, you are sad, you are mourning, something to do with your sadness. So when you find different words in different degrees, you use it according to the necessity of the story. And when, if we are repetitive about the words, generally the reader feels bored. We want the reader to be interested. So we have to be very careful about the words we use. The choice of words should be very, very apt in what we have to do. Decorative, it should be. Expressive, yes. Your emotions will come in it. Whatever you want to say, if you want to say, now suppose I say, alas, he is no more. That doesn't affect, alas, he is no more. When I'm expressing myself, your word, when a person is reading, he should also feel this in the writing. So your emotions matter a lot. Emotions, if the words are emotive, it becomes very interesting. If they are non-emotive, it's not language at all. Language needs to express itself by just by reading. When you read, you have to feel the language within you. So these the words which you are using, uh, you have to make a choice of your words. You have to be expressive in your words, and your words must have emotions so that you let the reader take the grip of the situation. Now, for emotions or decorative words, you use figures of speech. I make a portrait of a lady, just the hair, the face, the eyes. It's just a pencil drawing. The moment I put colors in it, it becomes very eye catching. When you have figures of speech and language, it becomes decorative. It's like painting a picture with colors. It's like putting ornaments on the face of the on the figure of the lady you have drawn. So figures of speech is very, very essential, whether you're writing a story, you're writing a poem, or you're writing an article. You can use metaphors, you have puns, you have alliteration, you give it an onomatopoeic feeling. The more you are expressive and the more you add colors to it, your picture becomes beautiful. Our host showed you a few paintings. If they were black and white, you wouldn't probably have been so attracted towards it. I have given multi-dimensional hues to it or multi-turinal hues to it. Why? Because the moment you flip on it, these colors should be able to attract your attention, and that makes the picture beautiful. That's what I said. If you have just a black and white picture, you may not be so interested. When you have a colorful picture, you look at it nicely, you look at it in detail. So also with language, when you decorate it with figures of speech and very soft flowing words, your article becomes very interesting. And that's what creative writing is all about. Um, you are your creativity is highlighted because of its um, simple decor. The decor should be simple so that everybody understands, but it should hold you in awe. In you can say, it should have a grip on your feelings, on your attention. All now we have. Suppose I just write a paragraph and I post it. It doesn't work. When we write an article, suppose I'm writing a middler and I have been given a particular space, uh, that middle should be spaced out. That article should be spaced out. How it is spaced? You write in small paragraphs, give it a space so that it gives a relief to the reader. After this, what? After this, what? If it is a running paragraph, generally it becomes more like a you can say it becomes more like a mm, just a article. Some reporter has reported something somewhere, some happening, and it's just in one paragraph and they leave it. Schools, colleges now have come up to teach article writing, report writing. So this is to just groom the students to be able to write in a crisp language what they want to say. But if it is spaced out in about 2, 3 paragraphs, the look of it also is nice, and that makes interesting reading. Now, I have written a story, and the beginning and the end both should be so interesting that you hold yourself to know what comes at the end. So your punchline should be attractive. Whatever you read, you wait till the last. Oh, what has the writer to say at the end? So when you come to the end, you just wait to draw the line. Your punchline is um, if the story is humorous, the punchline makes it more humorous. So we have the grip of the story from the beginning till the end. Whatever you write in between, that also should be, the connectivity should be absolutely on the frame that has been presented to you or you have been asked to write. Now, this in this in the last part, where I say the punchline should be good, we need to have an element of surprise also. Something that, like I told you, in the story that is being shown on the screen, Ramayana Revisited, it was, and in the last second last paragraph, that the mess that had happened that day is being said, and how the teacher who experienced this um, brought herself out of it is given in the penultimate paragraph. And the last line says, a new the Ramayana revisited once again. So you have the words that you are going to use should give you that relief, that when you end the story, your ending should be so good. If it is a happy, humorous story, the last should make you smile to yourself. And if it is sad, it should hold the grip. It should hold you on the gut, so that you can understand the person who has written has really painted a pen picture of the emotions that he or she wants to convey. Now, the balance should always be there between, whether it is a humorous piece or a sad story, or whatever. See, in very descriptive stories, descriptive writings, you don't have this, but your play on words is important. In descriptive stories, you describe. You cannot have what to say. Humor, you cannot put in humor there, you cannot put an element of surprise over there. It's describing something, so it is just plain and simple. But when you're writing a story for somebody to read as an entertainment, or something that you want to convey, which has been holding your gut, then the usage of words should be balanced. Now, when you can, that from beginning till the end, your tenor of the idea should remain intact. The reader should be glued to the write up till the end. It is the art of writing. See, we cannot create writers, we cannot make writers, they are born. We cannot make poets and you can say artists, they are born. Dancers, they are born. God, and this is probably a special talent that God blesses a person with. And that can, as I said earlier, it can be honed, it can be chiseled, it can be polished, it can be brought to life, all that we can do. But at the same time, when the word creative writing comes, something should be within oneself, that he comes out with such ideas or with such skills, that he is able to weave a story. He is just weaving words in a warp, you know. this WWW, weaving words in a word. It's like you are putting a something like a shawl on you when you are playing with these words. And these words should be so effective that they straight get into the heart of the reader. The only thing a person should remember who wants to write or who feels creativity, uh, this is creativity. No, it's not this is creativity. I write something and I leave it. This is creativity. No, you have to make an in-depth study of what exactly makes you feel that particular way, and then you put it in words, and the word should be apt. The word should really touch the reader wherever it means, in the right place at the right time. Creativity is a huge, expansive word. Otherwise, God wouldn't have taken such a lot of time to make this beautiful earth. He has created so many things. We have to draw inspiration from each and every element that is existing in this universe. So, and any of us who have been sitting here, like if I am doing a book review, I'm writing a story, I'm composing a poem, whatever I'm doing, I have to have my kitty full with words, with feelings, with emotions, with everything that we are doing. And above all, be happy about doing what we are doing. Be satisfied about doing what we are. That is creativity. The best is after, while doing it, even before doing, while doing, and after doing it, you feel very happy that yes, I have done something today. I have written something today, something that satisfies you, makes you feel happy. Your dedication is when you can put your entire self into that particular work. As I said, when I was being interviewed, that if I don't write, I sing. If I don't sing, I paint. If I don't paint, I cook. So it is wherever you put yourself, you need to belong to that place. It's a dedication. So writing, creating, composing, all these things are a sort of dedication. And when we do something dedicatedly, probably it's like prayer. I feel whatever I do it as a prayer. So I put myself into it. And all my creativity is God bless. I'm here because of God's blessings. That's all. Nothing else. I do nothing. He makes me do it, and it's just for all of you to watch and see. And I give the platform back to Manjushri.
Yeah.
I
But
do not
before,
know whether I've done justice to what I have said.
and before I stop sharing the screen, I'll just show the articles which we have written, and you can, if you want to
Yes.
wait on this, it's like breakable. Look at the
Ha.
titles she has given, and yes, students, we should ask her, how do you think about the titles? They are very interesting titles.
Now let me tell you. Uh, Generally, I don't begin with the title.
Hmm.
I keep writing. Somewhere while writing, I get the word and I just push it on top. Sometimes it is after writing the entire article, the thought process keeps going on continuously in my mind. Now, the boatman's son, basically, the boatman's son is the story about Dr. Kalam himself. He
Oh,
was such a simple person who was born in a very, very simple family. His father owned boats and they would go fishing. When his father would go fishing, he would take his book, sit on the boat, and read till such time his father returned with the catch of the day. And from there, he comes out to become the president of India. It's so inspirational. Sometimes I come across students who feel very bad that their parents are not able to buy for them huge gadgets, very expensive things. But just remember, all these people who have risen to such heights, they did not rise in life in one day. While their parents loved, they also worked, and they came up little by little. There was a story in one of the compulsory English books about Dr. Kalam being invited somewhere along with his school friends to somebody's house, and then there was a village festival where all the boats of his father would be given for bringing in the god and the goddess into the village for that particular festival. How nicely they bonded. They never felt that he belongs to somebody, she belongs to somebody. That thing was not there. It was a very encouraging story, and I just thought, the simple person, he has risen so high. Um, Probably, if our children, future generation, takes life in its stride and has that patience, each one of us may not become the president of India, but wow, some of us may rise to dizzy heights. So it's just patience and perseverance overcome mountains. So it was like that. Then there is one break ke baad. Now, break ke baad, I was, my mother had taken ill, and I was on leave for quite a while. During those times, I couldn't write. I just couldn't come out of my self. It was like, the creator within me had gone off for a holiday, probably for a prolonged time. And then when I started again, I felt I should give it break ke baad, because there was a space of more than a year, almost a year rather, from the last article that was published and this article. So that was it. Now, hiccups and the fizz. Manjeshri will know. We have, when we published the second versatile, at the nick of the time, the chief guest said sorry because he had some commitment in his official circle, and he refused to come. We were all very nonplussed as to how the function would go on. As it is, despite the month of February, it was raining, there was a thunder, there was a squall in the city, and then the guests started dropping off. So we were all in a, you can say, in a tizzy. So hiccups are what to say, the troubles that you had um, while no, before and while the function was on. But when the function went off very well, it was a stupendous success. The fizz, the fizz is generally, you just open, rush through, you just open the cap of a champagne bottle and let the fizz get out. That is celebration. You are celebrating. So you can say this, the hiccups and fizz is a metaphor for first difficulties and then the celebration.
Yes.
It is you when you have done now. Yeah, the lasting lessons. Our life, uh, right, growing up from childhood, you experience so many things in your growing stage. I remembered a few episodes when the cobbler taught me person. There was a man who used to bring in goodies every month, in the beginning of every month, and how I mm, did not behave properly with the person. And he taught me a lesson to respect everybody and everything that you see. So I still remember how these small lessons have taught us to be what we are today. These are the lasting lessons of life which you learn practically in your life. Now, nature is rejoicing. Now, this entire year, we have spent almost at home because of the pandemic. But one thing, nature rather came out of itself. Like we had pushed it into a corner due to pollution, due to ailments, due to the pandemic, all that. And as humans, we've always been thinking that we are the best. But nature showed this time that no, again, God and nature both are the best. Kanchenjunga would be seen from God knows from which Raiganj or Raniganj in Bengal, and here you could see the Himalayas right from Delhi. So the nature had become pollution free. Maybe it was rejoicing that oh, chalo, at least in a century's time, once it had got some space to breathe. We were not allowing it to breathe. So the nature is rejoicing is on that. This is thanksgiving to God that despite the pandemic, nature has almost uh, come out in its vibrance and vibrant colors to make us feel happy. This is one. Then there is one more. I have already spoken about the biological problems. Biological. See that word biological. If you just read it, it's biological. So if when you read it properly, it is biological. Means we call the maid who creates means who has been giving us a lot of trouble. Those they have logical solutions to their problems. Only we do not understand what is the logic behind it. So it is biological. Now, friends and friendship. First of August, first Sunday of August, we celebrate Friendship Day. Yes, we in the long run of our life, we have made a lot of friends. But what exactly does that one day justify the friendship day or the friends? No, friends are forever. So it is universal. It has absolutely a day. You don't celebrate a day. You celebrate the relationship. This is what I meant in friends and friendship. Uh, uh, any other? You probably the child and children. Uh, Most of the parents and the grandparents, we elders, we see nowadays parents complaining about how stubborn their children behave for certain things. They want the best of the gadgets, they want the best of the clothes, the branded clothes. Without that, they throw up tantrums. When we were small, whatever our parents brought and gave us, we were very happy with it. Probably we were not so demanding. Maybe the media has helped them to be very demanding. But actually, when you go to see, the child in the children is lost. That is what I had written about.
Tapti, there are a few questions for you.
Oh,
I've
thank
been
you.
through the chat box and people have enjoyed your session. But
Thank you
there
so
is
much.
one Kshitij Moon. He
Huh.
wants to know that he's saying, ma'am, how to tackle writer's block.
See, I told you a little while ago that there was time when I had almost suffered this writer's block within me. Uh, when you are unable to write, that's why if you are multi dimensional, like you draw, you paint, you write, one or the other thing keeps you going. try to take interest in something which again satisfies you, and gradually you see you will be getting back to your first love, writing. This, each one of us probably go through this, the writer's block, but it's not for a very long time. You try to, I would say, you try to keep yourself, engage yourself with some other activity which can again get you back to your first love. So it is short lived, it is not for a very long time. But if you are multi-dimensional, you will never feel that, oh, I'm not being able to do this, because you have something else to do. So what you need is mental, physical occupation in the right perspective, in the positive way.
Yeah,
Hmm.
very true. And there is one person with N. That may be the short form.
Hmm.
He writes, being a rigorous reader and a blooming writer, I have started guessing the upcoming sessions in the I have started guessing the upcoming happenings in the stories that kills the curiosity. As a writer, how should we tackle this problem?
The more you are, um like I said initially, you need to read a lot. When you read, you will get, uh, you these are, see, natural things that a person who is interested in reading or writing goes through. What you need to do is get yourself to, this is not tackling a physical problem. See, you are wanting to do something, you are unable to do it, and for a while you feel you are not being able to handle it. For some time, just keep it aside, then return back. Probably you will get a solution that way. Don't rush through. Patience always gets you to the right place at the right time. So get yourself to go through the entire process with due patience, and probably you will get a solution to this. See, as you no, nobody, I said, you cannot make writers, you cannot make artists. This is a natural thing. Sometimes you go back. The great writers have also gone through such, you can say, situations, but then gradually they have bounced back also. And presumably, this bouncing back may take some time, but you can help yourself by just keeping a little patient. That's all.
Yeah, and thank you, Taptidi. That was a fantastic presentation, very impressive.
Thank,
And
thank
as
you.
far as, yes, and we all have now come to know you very closely, and that interaction was also like fantastic. And
Thank you so much.
and
Hmm.
as far as this writing is concerned, article writing is concerned, you touched every point, every aspect. How, what is the thought process? How to give the heading? How to put in surprises? How to begin? How to end? Then you touched about the vocabulary part also. Then add figures of speech. Why to add figures of speech? And and yes, this is also about observation. You talked about very simple things and the things which are happening around us every time. So people, if they want to know what topics, everything is happening, you just have to be observant. There are,
But
that is, yeah,
that is it.
you can just convert
Many
a,
a times, let me tell you, many a times I am criticized for being a very keen observer. Means, my eyes almost turn round to see somewhere. Suppose the fold of the bed sheet is not in the proper way, so I go and pull it, or wipe a plate. They say, don't be so perfect. Don't be so perfect. Let things take its. But for creativity, whether you write, you paint, whatever you do, if you do not have this eye for perfection, you cannot be right in your writing. You cannot be creating in your creativity. You cannot be creative in your creativity. You cannot be perfect in your art forms, any art form for that matter. So I think we all need to have this eye for detail, eye for perfection. Thank
Thank
you.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
Yes, thank you, Tapti. And actually, students and all my dear friends, we all know that yes, there is no shortcut to anything. You have to read a lot, because if you want to understand different perceptions, you have to read a lot, and you can enhance your vocabulary also. And language is a powerful means of expression. So read, that is important. Find a subject which you care about and which you in your heart feel others should care about. It is this genuine caring, not your games with language, which will be the most compelling element in your style of writing. So, happy learning and keep writing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Meet
Thank
you
you.
tomorrow, yes, friends, with another
Yes.
expert in English, and we learn more about creative writing. So, meet you tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.